Hello and welcome to Cooking with Kieran. Today I'm making pasta sauce. I use it to go with pasta mixed through or served on top of ciabatta bread or even for making meatballs with. It's quite nice and changes the taste of the sauce when you cook the meatballs in the sauce. Ingredients wise, need 1 onion, some olive oil for cooking the onion in, 2.5 tablespoons, 3 cloves of crushed garlic, 1 tin of good quality chopped tomatoes, half a glass of red wine, a pinch of sugar, and some salt and pepper. If you want at the end, you can throw in some chopped basil as well, or some dried tomatoes too. I don't normally put them in, but that can be added if you have them. Most of the stuff I would have in my cupboard, so I can pull it out and just make a nice sauce from what I normally have sitting around the house if I'm not sure what I want to eat, and sometimes it's just nice to have pasta and sauce. It'll keep for a good while in the fridge as well and freezes quite well, so sometimes I'd make a double portion and freeze some of it if I want just to have pasta every now and again, or make more meatballs, so I can just pull the sauce out of the freezer without having to make the sauce. I just need to make the meatballs. So first, start by chopping your onions. You want to chop them quite fine. You're going to sort of slice them fine, cook them in the sauce. So peel the outer skin and chop them fine. I'm going to sort of chop them down the ways, then across the middle and down again to get them into small chunks. But like, chop the onions whichever way is easiest for you. Don't really know what I'm doing. So the longest part of cooking this sauce is actually chopping the onions, and if you actually know what you're doing, you'd be much faster than I am, and you can make the sauce much quicker. So finish chopping your onions, make sure they're nice and small, and go over any of the bigger chunks, just to cut them down a bit more. So now just get my wine out, so I'll need that later. And my olive oil. So I'm going to put 2.5 tablespoons of olive oil in the pot and warm it. Sort of put it over a medium heat. Going to open my wine when I'm waiting for the oil to heat up. Also, when you're opening your wine, try and use a decent corkscrew. This one I'm using is not my normal corkscrew. I've changed in the kitchen. I haven't pulled everything out yet and put it where it should go, so I'm using the corkscrew I had to hand, and it's useless, so I break the cork here. So it helps if you use a nice corkscrew. So I'm using a table wine, just a half decent table wine. It's, something I would drink. I'm not going to use something that I wouldn't drink, but at the same time, don't be putting too nice a wine into the pot. There's no point wasting it either. Just because you would drink something doesn't mean you should cook with it. At the same time as well, as if you've got wine sitting open for a few days that you maybe wouldn't be drinking, that you can probably still cook with it, so that it won't do too much damage to the dish. And it's, restaurants would use wine that's been open for a few days that they wouldn't serve. So add your onions into the pan. You're going to cook them for maybe about 5 minutes over a medium heat. You don't want them to burn. Stir them every now and again. Just make sure they are not going to stick, and you don't want them to go brown. You want them to go sort of opaque, and just go nice and soft. So that'll take about 5, maybe 10 minutes. Just depends on the onion. I'm going to crush my garlic now. I need 3 cloves of garlic. Take the skin off and then put them through a garlic crusher. And you're going to throw them into the pan for a minute. And just throw them in, stir the pan, leave them sit for a minute before adding the chopped tomatoes and the wine, a bit of salt, some sugar, a pinch of pepper. And that's pretty much all it takes to make the sauce. Then you let it simmer down for an hour on a low heat. Before you'd be fine after 40 minutes. An hour and a half is probably good as well, so as long as it doesn't dry out too much. Just depends how thick you would like the sauce. So crush your garlic into the pot and then give the pot a stir. Add your chopped tomatoes. And add half a glass of wine. I like to throw it into the chopped tomato tin first and swish it around to make it easier to get all the tomatoes out. Then you're going to want to add a pinch of sugar as well. So I like to use like my whole hand instead of just index finger and my thumb. I'd use my full hand to pinch the sugar just to get a little bit extra in. But you can adjust that down if you don't like it as sweet. So, pinch of sugar. You're going to want to add a bit of salt and pepper as well, which you don't see in the video, but I'd add a pinch of salt and a grind of pepper seasoning. Then you just simmer it in a low heat for 60 minutes. You'll notice as it cooks it gets thicker and changes. You want to reduce it by maybe 2/3 if possible. You'll see there when I put the spoon through the sauce that you could see the bottom of the pot and it wasn't wet enough to rush straight back. And that's you done. That's 60 minutes. You can serve it in pasta if you want or as a dip.